Hi everyone, welcome to week 1 of Ready, Set, Train. We are so glad you could join us today.
Yes, welcome back. Emilia and I have been discussing teacher training. Actually, I have a confession to make.
Well, don't keep us in suspense. What is it?
So, as you know, I've been teaching for a few years, and I just found out that I'm going to be conducting a teacher training.
Don't worry, John. Try not to focus on the number of teachers. Instead, think about the impact that your training will have. Anyway, that's why I'm here. I'm going to walk you through this process and help you to prepare. By the end of this course, you will feel confident and ready for your training. So, how are you feeling now?
Well, I must admit, I am nervous, but I feel better knowing that you'll be with me every step of the way. It's always better if I can work with a mentor, someone I can share my ideas with and get advice from.
Exactly, John. We can all learn from each other. No matter how many years of experience teachers have or how many classes they've taught, they can always learn something new.
And that brings me to my first question. What is the difference between classroom teaching and teacher training? I mean, I'm sure that you love being in the classroom just as much as I do, but having an audience of colleagues is completely different than having a classroom full of students.
Yeah, it really is. And you just brought up the main difference, the audience. You're still teaching and preparing lessons, but you'll design those lessons for your audience of other teachers.
So how do I do that?
Well, since you're training adults, your classroom management skills will be put to use in different ways. In the classroom, you might have to make sure students stay in their seats.
Oh yes, I've definitely had my issues with students before, especially right before lunchtime.
Right, so you probably won't have that issue in teacher training, but if you could have a different type of issue, for instance, you might have to make sure that one teacher doesn't dominate the discussion.
Okay, so I'm still using my classroom management techniques, but I'll be using them for a different type of issues. Thinking of that, I'll probably have to change the way that I speak to my participants. They would respond best to a request or a question rather than ordering them to do something.
Exactly. Another point you'll want to think about is attendance. Sometimes teacher trainings are required and other times they're voluntary. When they're voluntary, we get to choose which ones we sign up for.
Yes, I love it when I get to choose which ones we get to go to. I signed up for a reflective journaling one last year, and I'm still journaling.
That's great. I'm sure you've grown as a teacher through that reflective journaling process, and that is the perfect example of a voluntary workshop that you were motivated to take. But what about when you're forced to take a teacher training workshop?
That's definitely something I'll be thinking about as I'm planning my training. I really want my participants to stay motivated.
I think you're a natural, John. Yes. Think about how you will design your training to make the teachers' lives easier. An important point to remember is that as teachers, we're often very busy. We're always lesson planning, grading, and thinking about our students even when we're not in the classroom.
Isn't that the truth? I often find myself writing down ideas for lessons as I'm getting ready for bed.
Exactly. So your goal as a teacher trainer is to give your participants practical ideas, tools, and activities that will make their lives easier. We all love getting new ideas, right? Actually, John, I have an excellent article about the teaching toolbox that will give you something you can use right away in your teacher training.
Great! That's exactly what I'm looking for when I participate in professional development. But it's also important to explore all of the different reasons why teachers engage in professional development.
To grow as teachers, to learn new things, to present and share new ideas with colleagues.
To publish research and tips from our own classroom experience.
The list could go on and on.
I really feel like I've got a good start here. I'm pretty excited that I get to plan the dream workshop for all of the teachers in my school. It doesn't feel so scary anymore.
I'm glad to hear it. I hope all of our participants are feeling just as comfortable as you.
I'm sure that they are. I'm going to get started by reading that article that you mentioned earlier. I definitely want to find out more about the teaching toolbox.
Sounds great, John. Well, that's all for now. See you at the end of the lesson.